Moving on. I was going to have probably not as much to say about this album before I listened to the Joe Budden podcast. I feel like they opened up a lot more speaking topics about Eminem as a whole, but we're gonna really get into it about this Eminem Kamikaze album. First of all, nobody knew this was coming out. All of a sudden I just woke up and I was like, oh, Eminem dropped a surprise album? Okay, it's lit. I know he's mad at somebody. Who is he mad at? And just a little context, just in case if you didn't know, we're not gonna go too far back. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but just as far as like the last year, unless you were on the rock, you know that Joe Budden and DJ Academics were on Everyday Struggle, and Revival came out, and we listened to that on stream. I did a listening party on that. RP to listening parties, because I ain't doing that no more. Yeah. But we did a listening party on Revival, and it was dreadful. It was a chore. Yeah, it was a chore to listen to, and I have not been an Eminem fan project-wise in years. Like, these albums have been just terrible. I don't like the pop route. I don't like none of that stuff. So anyways, Revival came out, and Joe Budden now transitioning from being a retired rapper, to a critic. It was kind of hard for him to give his 100% clear-cut thoughts about it. A lot of people were like, oh man, like, you can't talk about him, that's your balls, he put you on with Slaughterhouse, all that jazz. But he still ended up saying, like, man, like, this was terrible, like, that first single that you brought out was bad. And he was like, but you like, Eminem still, like, overall comes out, he has good concepts with his albums, but he was like, nah, like, that just wasn't it. He had a little bit more to say, but again, he couldn't go 100% with how we felt. He just felt like, again, he had an obligation to not only Eminem, well, not so much Eminem, to be honest. It was more Royce. It was more Royce, because Royce is his boy. So he really just didn't want to go 100% hard on him, because then, like, he didn't want to start nothing with Royce and Eminem and everybody else who's on Slaughterhouse. So he didn't talk about everything that he felt. But in any case, him saying that, and DJ Academics also saying the same thing, like, about Revival. Eminem felt some type of way. Now, on the Chloroseptic remix that he brought out with Freshman 2 Chainz, he definitely mentioned DJ Academics, Joe Budden, and basically all the other critics who were saying that Revival was ass. Sometimes you just gotta take the L, fam. I know that this is you, Eminem, but you gotta take the L on this one, man. Revival was terrible. I don't care what the album sales say about it. Revival was not one of your best works, fam. It just wasn't. It was only like one song on there that I could really stomach besides Chloroseptic, and really I couldn't stomach that one until the remix came out. The remix was just way better, and I don't even like Fresher like that, but for him to just be on the hook was kind of whack too. And I was like, what? Where the hell did you even find him from? Like, out of everybody who you could have put to try to put on, like, you found Fresher? Like, who the hell is this, man? And like, you still, like, nobody cares if you have Beyonce or Rihanna or Nicki Minaj on the hooks or whatever. Like, it just doesn't sound right for Eminem sound. So it was just a bad project. You just gotta face it. It was a bad project. People have bad projects, it's okay. But he felt some type of way, because I guess maybe he took it more like they were clowning his entire lyrical prowess or everything that he's done in the past, more than, oh, just this project was bad. Nobody was saying that everything that Eminem has done has been bad. They were just saying at the time they were reviewing Revival and it was bad. Nobody wanted to hear that stuff anymore. Nobody wanted to hear about you crying about Kim for all these albums, man. Like, it got old. It honestly got old. So anyways, Eminem must have felt even worse about that and did not let Chloroseptic die. He said his little stuff on there, and Joe Budden was like, man, you know, you want to talk about me? Because he didn't say his name, right? Like, it's easy to say, you know, you want to talk about me. DJ Academics ran with it. He run with anything. So he like, I know you was talking about me, but he stood his ground. So I ain't mad at for standing his ground. But this album, Kamikaze, this man was talking about everybody, and he was saying names on this one. It wasn't just some subtweets, some subtitles, all man, subliminals, all this stuff. Nah, he said names. He said DJ Academics. Like, nah, like, when I see you, I'm slap you. He was talking about Joe Budden. He was talking about Charlamagne. He was like, give me Donkey of the Day. I don't care. He was talking about all the people who he birthed or whatever. He was talking about Logic. He was talking about Hobson. He was talking about Tyler the Creator and the fag word, and we're gonna get on that too, man, because people got upset about that. It's 2018 and nobody's letting you get away with that anymore. Even though like I have my own thoughts about that, but he got under some people's skin when he was talking about what Tyler calls himself. That's the funny thing. That's the ironic thing about it. He actually calls himself that. But in any case, this man was talking about everybody on this one. So I was like, okay, Eminem is in his bag, right? He mad. Somebody else finally got him mad besides his baby mama, Kim. So I'm not mad at that. I respected that. I'm happy that this came out and that he actually had something else to go on, someone else to talk about. So that was one positive for me. The second positive, in which I got on forever, is Eminem's beat selection. I do not like Eminem's beat selection after Dre left. I don't like anything he's done with Rick Rubin. I didn't like the beats he was making for himself. Production was ass. Production's been ass after Eminem show to me. I didn't like none of that stuff. I didn't listen to none of that stuff. It was whack. It was super whack. So on this one, he got Mike Will made it on one. I was like, okay, all right, you finally going and trying something new. He got Take Heath, which again, Take Heath is whack to me, but
it's the same beat.
Yeah, it's the same beat, fam. But I mean, that was a song that you had Royce on, Not Alike. So I mean, I just listened to that one for the lyrics, but it was the same beat. But again, the point stands that he was at least trying to rap on other people's stuff. So I can respect that as well. It at least allowed me to listen to it a little bit more and not just be bored out of my mind because of the production and the beat selection. So I like that stuff. He also mentioned D12 on this one. He's saying that he's sorry that he didn't big him up as much as he could, because he definitely could have propelled him to superstar status. But it all goes back to that My Band song. It was more truth to that than you think. A lot of people were just feeling Eminem and they weren't really feeling everybody else. I like D12, to be honest. I really like D12, but he didn't treat them correctly. And the same thing with Slaughterhouse, and that's what Joe Budden was talking about a lot. As far as managing, like Eminem just didn't know how to manage. So that's how that Slaughterhouse situation ended up being more of a dud than it should have as well. So, but going back to the album itself, it was a lot better to listen to. My favorite song was the one with Jordan Lucas on it, because Jordan Lucas absolutely snapped. Mm-hmm. I'm so glad that Eminem featured Jordan Lucas on the track, because just in case if you didn't know who Jordan Lucas is, I hope you know now, because that man was in his bag on that track, boy. That shit was a masterpiece. That's by far my favorite song, like hands down. Lucky You, by far my favorite song. And of course, my second favorite is Not Alike with Royce the 5'9" on it. And then Kamikaze, which was another song where he was talking about Joe Budden and DJ Academics on that one. So, but I liked it though. I mean, like the song towards the end, like Nice Guy and Good Guy, the song with JC Reyes, like whatever. And then Venom, I mean, that was from the motion picture of Venom. It was about to come out in another month. So I was like, whatever. He just added that on there just to get him more sales. I know how it is. I know how the game goes. So you just put it on there just so that particular single can get boosted. So that one was a kind of a throwaway. So it's whatever. But I would say up until track number 10. Besides like the two skits, because you got to put Paul on there. That's always a thing that he does. So 8 tracks basically. The 8 tracks before you get to number 11. I liked. It was different from Eminem. I'm glad that it came out so early, because again, nobody was expecting this besides maybe people in his camp. And I'm glad that he had some other subject matter. So to me personally, I think that other people should just make him mad, because Eminem felt like he had something to prove on this one, even though I don't agree with that either. I don't think that Eminem should have to prove his lyrical prowess anymore. I think people already know what he can and can't do. But I want to say this though. I feel like the best track that he's done after Eminem show, as far as like just a single verse besides Rap God, was that Drake song Forever. I really like that line, that verse he had on there. That shit was hard, but I can't think of anything else besides Eminem's freestyle that like he was like that made me like, wow, like this was amazing.
He had a couple moments on Marshall Mathers LP too. He had a couple moments on that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
because I remember that song "Bad Guy." When you listen to that song and listen what he's saying in that song, like sometimes you have to kind of break this shit down with him. A lot of people just hear him saying stuff and they like, oh, he doing this. He like when you actually hear what he's saying, you actually pick apart the lyrics. A lot of people, that's why a lot of people don't like Eminem, because it makes them actually have to think. So a lot of people like simplicity.
I mean,
I don't have a problem with him having complexity in his rhymes, and a lot of people think it's always about, oh, I'm gonna kill this person, or I'm gonna do this, or it's some drug related stuff in it. It's not always that. Sometimes you just have to pick it apart a little bit and really get what he's saying. He definitely has moments. Everything he puts out, he has moments where, okay, this is why Eminem is Eminem.
Okay. Well, we'll let Flock talk about the album a little bit. Then
no. We're gonna let AB rock, because I'm really interested in knowing what he has to say, because I know, because we definitely got somewhat of a difference of opinion, because I know for a fact he's not really a big Eminem fan. So
okay,
well,
AB, go
I've
ahead,
been a big M fan since probably the Eminem show. I'm gonna keep it real, because as soon as he started going the poppy route and the whack beats, like JG said, it kind of took me out. Like, I really enjoyed, like, my history with Eminem. I enjoyed, the Hi, My Name Is, when that first came out. I was like, what the hell is this? Like, I was a young kid, and then the Marshall Mathers LP, I played that religiously in middle school. So but now it's just like it got very redundant in a sense, because it's like, all right, here's another song about him complaining about Kim. Oh, he's talking about killing his mom again. And then you got the what was that one song that was super, I forgot what it was. The Love the Way You Lie, that came out, and I was just like, what the hell is this? Like, this is not the same M that I remember.
With Rihanna.
Yeah, and I was just like, what happened to the M that hated pop stars? Now you doing songs with him. I don't understand what's going on here. But even that, I let rock. I was like, all right.
But wasn't that on Recovery, or was that on Relapse?
Which one it was on? I don't know, because I don't even acknowledge those M albums. But I was in the listening party when we did Revival, and I was one of those people that, like, it got to a point to where I was just like, I don't even want to listen to this anymore. I'm just here supporting the stream, so I'm just gonna get my laughs off.
That was on Recovery, by the way. That song was on Recovery.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So when this dropped, and I heard this drop, I think I was on Facebook, and somebody posted it up in one of the group chats I was in, and I was like, okay, so M dropped something. Let me go listen to it and see what he got to say. And I listened to it, and at first, the first thing that came to mind instantly was, this is way better than Revival. Like, if he would have dropped this instead of Revival, I think people wouldn't even be making the corny jokes that they making about him. Like, it would be just like, okay, M came back, the album was pretty good, but the only problem is that the reason we have this album is because of Revival. Like, I seen the tweet that kind of made me laugh and chuckle, because it was kind of true, where somebody was like, every M album that he's putting out is him apologizing for the last album. And I was like, damn, that kind of sounds like kind of fits. But with this one, when I heard that joint with Joyner Lucas, is damn near like, that Spider-Man meme where they pointing at each other. That's how I felt like this track came about, because Joyner Lucas reminds me of a young ass Eminem. Like, the content is there, the lyricism is there, the wordplay. The only thing he don't got is being able to rhyme like M can, because I don't think it's anybody on this world that can rhyme words like he can. That joint had me kind of like a little bit amped up. The one with Royce was pretty good. I think the songs that he had Royce on, showed his ass off, and then M always step up to the challenge whenever them all two on the track together. But yeah, other than that, like, towards the second half of the album, I was just kind of like, okay, now what am I listening for here? And all I really heard was just name drop after name drop. So I was just like, okay, What are we talking about? And it's like, okay, you're mad because people had critiques on your album, but it's like fair critiques because that album wasn't your strongest suit. So what are you really mad for? And then it just, I don't know, bro. It really wasn't that great to me as far as this album goes, especially that Venom track. That shit was horrible. I could have did without that. But yeah, it just, I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of people, when I've talked to people about it, a lot of people have really been caught up with the lyricism. And I'm like, okay, but what is he really saying? So I've actually listened to it, tried to listen to it. And there was a couple of ones like the D12 song. I don't really like the way the song was structured or the beat selection, but I clearly got the message in the song, like that he was basically apologizing to his, like, feel me, his homies, where he was like, I could have did better with using my superstardom to get you guys some success, but I didn't, and I'm sorry for that. So I was like, okay, that's cool. And I feel like M always has that one or two songs where it's like really content filled and it has a message behind it, and it's not just him rapping. So I can appreciate that as well.
Okay. All right, what about you, Flock?
Yeah, this was definitely what recovery was to relapse, in my opinion, because you knew it. He actually acknowledged that Relapse was a bad album. It was pretty much meh, and the like AB said, we wouldn't even have this album if he didn't drop Revival, because that album was a dud. And I'm an Eminem fan. I'm sure I'm the biggest Eminem fan of the three of us here. I could appreciate his body of work, but I think in a sense he has this sense of entitlement. Like, no one can really be overly critical of his work because of his status. And my thing is, he's wrong in that sense, because when Jay-Z dropped was it Kingdom Come, people was on him.
I like Kingdom Come too, man.
People like, I didn't have that big a problem with it, but you could tell it was different, you know, because this was on the heels of the Black Album, right?
Yep.
After the Black Album, and I felt like the Black Album was Jay-Z's best work. My personal opinion, I felt the Black Album was Jay-Z's best album next to Reasonable Doubt. Let me put that disclaimer. Reasonable Doubt is still his best work to me, but the Black Album is his second best album. A lot of people is gonna say the Blueprint, but that's your opinion. But yeah, he's acknowledging that. He acknowledged it in songs, saying, you know, people gonna say, "Oh, you just mad? What you gonna bitch about now?" and all this other stuff. But I'll start off by saying, with Revival, I said this before, Revival sounded dated. It just sounded heavily dated. It sounded like some stuff he did. It sounded like a lot of throwaway songs that didn't make the Recovery album. And when I listened to it more and more, I think like the only song I could think that I listened to more than once off of that album, probably Arose, because I felt him on that one. You know what I mean? It's like you felt how he felt on that one. So that was probably the best song on that album to me. But when he dropped this one, you felt it. You felt the rage, man. And I just feel like, you know, he's gotta be a lot more accepting that, you know, people don't look at it like people just trying to go out and diss him, but the fact that people just expected more from him. And that's not always a bad thing. Sometimes that's a good thing. Like, you know the effort you put into this one, you know, because you could tell there's a lot more effort in this one in Kamikaze than it was in Revival. Definitely. I mean, he came out the gate swinging with the ringer. I mean, I feel like, Lucky You, Joyner Lucas. Yes, that was an amazing joint. I mean, from up until like maybe track 10, it was no misses on that. So yeah, I feel like Eminem is one of those. It's a tricky case because a lot of people say, oh, he used a lot of. I said this before when he dissed Tyler the Creator. I've always said that Tyler the Creator tries to take the Eminem approach with a lot of shock value lyrics and stuff like that to get people talking about him. And yeah, he does say a lot of controversial stuff and whatnot, but you know, you got some people that can make words rhyme. Let's not forget Eminem can make an entire sentence rhyme. And that's a tough task to do. So I try to give, you try not to go at the greats like that, but with Revival, he definitely deserved that criticism. He shouldn't even put that out. But Revival, he did. I mean, not Revival. But with Kamikaze, he had to do that to kind of like resurrect what he wants his career and his legacy to be, because you don't want your last album to be a dud like that. So
facts.
I feel like the production was a lot better on this one than on Revival. So I give him a plus for that. And like I said, the lyrical content was definitely better. I think he's one of those artists, and it's a few, but some people, it's like in sports, some people play better when the stage is brighter. Some people play better when the game is tied instead of when they're up 20. And he can pull a Robert Ory when he wants to and make the clutch shot. And I think with this one he did just that. Even though some of the subject matter was still like typical Eminem, I just think with him, his content didn't change with the times. When the times changed and it needed him to, I don't feel like he adapted to, he adapted and transformed his sound. It still sounds like, the original Marshall Mathers LP. A lot of his songs. I'll just leave it at that.
Agreed. I would have to agree with you. Yeah, I feel like Eminem definitely, he just needed a fire lit under him. And with the people critiquing Revival, I feel like that's what it was. Like, again, I was saying that he shouldn't, get super upset and think that people are challenging his entire catalog, or that people are challenging his lyrical prowess. I don't think anybody was doing that. They were just saying simply Revival was ass. But again, if that's what it took for you to come back with this one, then keep doing it. Then like I don't have no problem with it. I have no problem with it at all. When you were saying that you felt like Eminem has never got with the times, and while I agree with that, it's still some things that I feel like he still should not do. Like on Not Alike, that hook was terrible, bruh. Like he was.
Oh yeah, he got to stop singing on the hooks.
Yeah, he was trying to again like come up with the new cats and like Brain Dead, eye drops. We didn't like. I was like, come on, man. Like this is not you, Eminem. I feel like he should have.
I think he did that kind of like the parody was high right now though. With him, you gotta take all things into consideration, because he does shit like that without saying he's doing something like that just to get a reaction, and you reacted to it. I'm sure it was just right. It fell right into the plan.
It was cringy. If he did it on purpose, then so be it. I mean, the song wasn't bad. Obviously, it was one of my favorites. But when I heard it, I was like, what? Because I know he kind of did that on Revival too, and it just felt like it felt kind of weird. But at the same time, I guess like he's either he's parodying it, or he's doing it because he's trying to catch up and do what the new kids or the cool kids do these days. So I don't know. But I didn't like the hook regardless of what he was doing.
I didn't have a problem with that one more than I had a problem with like him just singing on the hooks, like him trying to pull the Not Afraid route and go and it's just like, bruh, just if you need somebody to sing on the hooks, just get somebody else, because you singing that's not it, bruh. That's not it.
But isn't it a lose-lose? Because it's like if he sings on it, it's bad. But if you get a Pink or a Ed Sheeran or a Beyonce or Rihanna, I mean, it's not really any better anyway, because those are still anthem type of songs, right?
There's still a lot of other people you can get that can harmonize on the beat. That's not necessarily pop singers to sing.
Where's Skylar Grey? Because she was on all over his last couple.
I hate Skylar Grey, fam. I'm so glad he did not have her on this damn album. Please, Skylar Grey is like the bane of my existence, yo. Like, just I can't stand it. So I'm glad. He got Jessie Reyes instead of Skylar Grey. That's what he did. So,
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a fan of.
I mean, I wasn't a fan of Jessie Reyes either, but definitely ain't a fan of Skylar Grey or Ed Sheeran. Like none of them songs that he be doing.
I'm not a fan of him with pop singers. Period.
Facts.
That just doesn't work for me. Like none of them have ever worked for me. It's just like, what is it? It just what is
at this point? Just let Bizarre sing on the hook.
Basically, bro. Like I'd rather hear that. He killed it on my band, so why not?
True. So Fly, I know that AB listened to it, but did you get a chance to listen to the Joe Budden podcast yesterday?
No, I did not.
Oh man, okay. All right.
I see you raving about it. I'm gonna have to check it out. Is it still free or you have to?
No, it's still free.
Nah, it's still free.
It's still free.
Right.
Yeah, until
I'm gonna check it. I'm gonna check it out while I'm out grocery shopping.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that though.
It's on YouTube too.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube now as well. Yeah, so you can listen to it. But let's talk about that because with this diss, with these multiple disses on Kamikaze, Joe Budden seemed very, very excited to finally talk about what was going on. So he already talked about what we basically knew, but again, he dropped some couple of things that I didn't know. So he mentioned how he wasn't happy for real whenever he got on with Eminem, because again, just like with D12, he did not treat Slaughterhouse how he should have. He was saying that he took Joe Budden off of some songs that they did. He said that he'd been basically talking about the situation for a minute, but people didn't catch that he was talking about Eminem. Everybody thought that it was all, fine and dandy, but Joe Budden been having problems for years, apparently. And that's, that all led to him retiring. And I think one of the main things that he said, it was a couple of things that he said that I don't necessarily agree with, but he said that Eminem was an industry plant. He said he was the original industry plant. I said, oh man, I don't know about that one, man. That I got to do some more research. But he said that he's an industry plant. He said that Joe Budden, he said to himself, he's been better than Eminem in the last 10 years. And that's a serious statement. But when you think about it, because we were just talking about this, and me and AB,
argument for it.
Yeah, me and AB Smooth agreed. Eminem has arguably not had a good project since the Eminem show, in my opinion. I would say that he hasn't had a good project since then. And that's when I really stopped listening to Eminem. It's after the Eminem show. I was like, nah, this stuff, I'm just not feeling the pop route, fam. I'm not feeling the way that you're going. I'm not feeling that your production has not progressed anymore. You're on some other stuff. You're not really showing your lyrical prowess. You're trying to get all these anthem songs going that are going to get on the radio and get top 10 and all of that. I'm not a fan of that. Duty. Yeah. Oh yeah, the Call of Duties, right? Yeah, those anthem songs. So I was like, man, just hearing it and automatically being biased, you nah, man, that ain't it. I don't know about that. That's an extremely hot take, Joe Budden. But I mean, maybe he has a point. Maybe he has a point. I feel like a lot of artists were better than Eminem in the last 10 years. When you think about it, as far as just projects are concerned, Eminem has just not had that real good run of projects after Eminem show, in my opinion. So he might be right on that one. He might be onto something. But when you think about it, if we're talking about just specifically Joe versus Eminem, you still man, I know that you are a lyrical beast. I know that you a lyrical beast, Joe, but oh man, are we talk about full projects or we just talk about just lyrical content? Cause I don't know, man. I don't know. I gotta do some more research and listen to some more Joe Budden stuff that he did back in the day to really come up with that, whether I agree with that or not. But right now I'm gonna say nah. I'm gonna say no on that one. But that was an interesting one. And then another important thing that he said, a lot of people wondering, as soon as they heard Joe Budden's name, will he respond? Will he respond? Will he respond? Roy and Mal was like, yo, I wanna see this fight. I wanna see this dance. Joe was like, nah, man, I'm not gonna do it. I'm retired. Y'all not gonna get me out here. But he did say that Eminem dissed him to as a project rollout. He said if Eminem said something else about him off of this project, that he gonna get in his bag and he gonna go after him. He doesn't want Eminem to say something about him on projects. He want Eminem to say something that's not gonna get him money. And then he said if and only if he does that Joe Budden gonna get in that booth right now. And he said he gonna eat his ass up. So
you know M gonna do it, right?
I want him to. I want to see this. Though. I don't think he is either. Joe Budden said he ain't. I don't think he is. I want to see it.
The thing, this is my theory with M. Because I think a lot of people like to overhype M when it comes to beef. But let's be real. Who has he really beefed with that was of caliber?
Credible. I'm not gonna say it's not gonna say a lot because a lot of people is gonna say, oh, he was beefing with Christina Aguilera, he beefed with Fred Durst and
None of those count. None of those count
like that can't really outrhyme him and shit like that.
Yeah,
'Cause I know him and Nelly had a thing, but they kind of squashed that under the table.
Like, there's been nobody who could really go toe to toe with him.
No, him and Royce had fell out for a minute too, but
he didn't
neither one
that
of them.
one.
Yeah, neither one of them really went. You know,
it was more
that would have
Royce
been interesting,
but
that was on some local like I'm about to pull up on you type of shit. That was on some personal stuff.
Yeah.
Especially after he said the shit about Proof. After
after that, they was on some.
No, it wasn't Proof. It was about they homie Bugs that Royce. That was when he did that Malcolm X song.
He said something about Proof too, but Bugs was what
started. But no, him and Proof had squashed that before Proof had died though.
Yeah, it was before then. But again, he had something to say about all of them. But yeah, it was Bugs
before Proof had died, they had squashed that.
Yeah, facts.
You're right. But yeah, like I don't know, cause it's like everybody, and I can't stand these Eminem fans that's trying to give him the body of Ja Rule. Like I'm gonna say, y'all gotta stop that, man. Whoever you M fans is, like y'all can't say that M killed Ja Rule because Ja Rule was already.
I would say
under.
No, I would say 50 left him laying, and M just kind of like put the one in his head that canceled his credit card.
That was on some just because they were on the same label type of stuff. I'm gonna ride with you. Like Ja Rule Eminem didn't have legit
because
beef with Ja
said
Rule
some shit. He said some shit about that man's daughter.
He did, and that's why he hopped in.
It's just some things you just don't do.
No, but think about this though. Again, that's by association, right? It's like it's like obviously if you gonna talk about 50, if your beef was with 50, you gonna talk about everybody around him. 50 did that to the entire squad, right? To the entire Murder Inc. squad. He didn't necessarily have beef with them, but that's
talk
why
about nobody's kids.
I mean, this is true. I'm not dismissing that at all. I'm just saying that's why Eminem jumped in. It was really 50 and Ja Rule beef. 50 ain't need no help, but Eminem hopped on it because Ja Rule was like, all right, I'm not going to talk about 50. I'm going to talk about Eminem too, right?
Right. Oh, snap. I got one for you, AB. Who he beef with?
Who?
Benzino.
I was about to say that one next, though. I was about to say that one next.
Benzino was a killer out here in these streets, boy.
He also beefed with Cannabis.
Yeah, he did beef with Cannabis. Cannabis didn't want them problems.
Cannabis was
still in the ground from LL.
Yeah.
So I mean,
that didn't go nowhere. That didn't go nowhere either.
He never recovered from that shit with LL.
So
what was crazy, that was a popularity contest too, because
man, that Cannabis disc was kind of cold. I'm not gonna lie, kind of got that. I still play that disc to this day.
Second round knockout.
Yeah, that was cold, but.
But basically, it's proving the point. Like, who really has like went toe to toe with Eminem? Nobody. Like all those beefs, nothing really happened from it. Cannabis could have, but again, he was already slumped. He was already slumped from LL. Like Benzino,
he may have that reputation, or like I think his reputation is made him more of a threat, more of an icon than he probably should get credit for at times.
Yeah.
I think it's like one of them things. Like he comes out and it's like, okay, you heard what he could do if he's really focused and he's locked in. I don't want to be that guy, but I will say he has taken a loss before without the person ever having to respond from him. And you know who clown Eminem the most, the hardest?
Right.
Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah. Ooh,
Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson. A lot of people don't remember that. You remember he used to make videos. He used to diss Michael Jackson, right?
Yeah.
You know what Michael Jackson did, right?
I found out what he did.
Bought his catalog. It don't get more gangster than that. Mike said, "Okay, I got it.
I own you.
I want all of that." And he bought the man's catalog, and he had it for 9 years. Yeah, it don't get more G than that, bro. So he said, "Yo, you can diss me all you want." I think he sued him, and then Eminem clowned him for suing him. And then he dissed him again, and he said, "You know what? I'm gonna do something even better. I'm gonna get money out of your publishing." and that's what he did. So, you know, Eminem is not immune to taking the L. I mean, because he took a massive L on that one.
Yeah, that was one that was kind of left under the rug.
That's
I
a
don't think a lot of
G-check
people
if
knew
I've
that.
ever heard.
That's a lot of stuff that people don't, you know what I'm saying, unless you do your research, you don't know about. But yeah, he definitely did.
Yeah,
he got him. I mean, I really wanted to know what that conversation was him and Nelly had, though, because I know him and Nelly had some words, but it never escalated into anything. But he would have killed Nelly.
Oh yeah, Nelly wouldn't.
I'm not riding.
He would've killed him.
I'm not riding for my city on that one. I know he would have done it.
I mean, like Nelly, I realized this ain't KRS-One, bro. You don't want these. You don't want that headache.
That was still a weird one too. I don't even know how or why that manifested, but that was
it's just KRS-One thinking he's smarter than everybody else, and everybody need to pay homage to him. Like, you do need to realize not everybody grew up listening to you. Not everyone 35 and up grew up listening to Boogie Down Production. You just gotta realize that.
Yeah.
Some of the older cats, man, need to, but he's one of the most annoying. So he is. I've always respected him, but I've never been a huge fan of his shit.
Yeah, right. Okay, so going back to the Joe and Eminem thing. So honestly, would you think that Joe Budden will be able to successfully get at Eminem and like seriously make him think about what he did for dissing him in the first place?
Probably. I think he can say some stuff. I mean, Joe Budden is no slouch. A lot of people like to clown. Used to like to clown him all. Oh, it's the pump it up dude. Like, no, there's a lot more to him than that, bro. Like you gotta listen to a lot of his album joints. Yeah, I mean, anybody that's been through some shit. So them two can both kind of relate to each other. Anybody that's been through some stuff, man, and they not too proud to put in their records, and they like a lot of like really transparent with the stuff that they deal with. I mean, you got to think about it. What are they not willing to do? What not willing to say? Like, if they'll say this and they'll clown themselves. What do you think they'll do to you?
Yeah, this man said, "I love it." He's like, "I love this stuff," and I was like, "Come on, man! Like, just diss him. Just go back at him." I think he made like 4 or 5 diss tracks on Drake alone.
I'm just glad that Joe was getting his just due. I really am.
It's been a long time coming, man. He had been through it. I fully understand, 110% understand why he does not like
everybody calling him a hater
game.
and an old head. Now everybody hangs on his opinion and his take on everything. Now, funny how that happens.
Yeah, yeah.
Funny how who's over there everyday struggling every day?
Oh boy,
academics. I'm just saying.
And then I also forgot to mention another person who came out with a diss track. That was Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah.
So Machine Gun Kelly, he was like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna take the full opportunity to come at you. You're not gonna talk about me like this and get away with it." Now, I will say that Machine Gun Kelly
started it.
He didn't really say anything that we haven't heard of before. It was done in a clever way. I'm not gonna say that this track was whack. It was. I liked it.
Right.
I messed with it, but it wasn't anything on the Joe Budden levels that he could potentially go to. I felt like when that podcast came out yesterday and we really heard what Joe Budden had to say about Eminem, that was enough for me. Like, MGK, that stuff can die. If he made another diss track about you, I'd be surprised. But Joe Budden is the real one who I feel like, I don't know if he ready for that, man, because Joe Budden, I think he ready. He's just waiting on that one moment to finally go back in the booth and just go at him. So I'm willing to see it. I think that this could potentially be one of the best beefs ever.
Yeah, I think they both will have some dirt on each other.
Yeah.
But let's not forget, you know, Joe Budden was going through some stuff when he first got on Slaughterhouse, which was hence the reason Slaughterhouse even formed, because none of their solo careers was really doing anything. Right. So, yeah. M is heavy is really heavily tactful when it comes to going at people. So you just gotta really ask yourself, do you want that? Because you don't know which Eminem is gonna show up. But most of the time when it has to do with beef, you're gonna get that, you're gonna get that shit. That's all I can say. So be prepared.
It could possibly
It's gonna be a
ages.
pit bull fight.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say. It's gonna be a fight because, I mean, Joe got a good. His beef record is pretty nice too. He didn't win at some quality people like the whole. He went at all of G Unit and Gang at the same time. So it was just like, just that alone was just like, okay, that's gonna be nice. So I'm excited. And Joe looked like he had that "Wish a Nigga Would" in the podcast, just off his voice alone. So
he was ready.
Yeah, like the MGK disc was like, okay, this is cute. You feel me? It's cool. Nice little something. It wasn't great like everybody was hyping it up as.
Exactly.
I think everybody was just hyping it.
And saying, oh my God, this is about him.
This
I'm like, he didn't say nothing though.
This Machine Gun Kelly stuff, when I seen people on Twitter saying, oh, Eminem, you got 2 days to respond. Oh, it's over for like this remind me of NBA Live fans.
Yeah.
When did they announce females was coming into the game and stuff like that? Oh, it's something different. Oh, RIP 2K is over, and then you get the finished product, and it's kind of like, okay, this is pretty much what I played last year for the most part.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's when you get it and it's right there in front of you, like you can smell it and it smells good as hell. But when you get a taste of it, it don't taste no different than the spot you go to around the corner. You know what I mean? It just doesn't really do anything for my appetite. And that's how I feel with the Machine Gun Kelly disc. I think he started it by commenting on this man's daughter. That's one of the only things you can do to really set that dude off.
And she was 16 at the time, by the way.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, like, are we not gonna address that?
You know,
man talking about an underage girl.
That was 2012 when he said that shit.
You're supposed to be one of my peers, and you claim you looked up to me, and I'm one of your influences. But yet you're gonna speak on my I don't have a daughter, so I'm just saying though. But if somebody was to comment on that, yeah, I would the light bulb would go off too, and it would explode, and I'll be ready to go for blood as well. That shit is creepy.
Just music at that
Maybe
point.
he has a daughter, so I know he can attest to what I'm saying. Like that's some creepy shit. So I would have went at him too, but don't turn around and say, I'm coming back. I'm coming at you because you said something to me. Like, don't forget what you said first, bro.
Exactly. And at that point, like when you bring somebody kids into it, bro, it ain't even about music no more, in my opinion.
Yeah,
you say something on my daughter, I'm coming for you as a man in person. Like it's some real issues. It's some. If I see you on the streets, I'm gonna slap this. I ain't gonna say y'all know the rest of the shit. But yeah, I don't know. That man tripping on that. I can't get behind that. That's another reason why that disc to me just was like, bro, come on now, like that's. You know what you did to get this man riled up, so you can't complain about him trying to quote unquote blackball you. Like, bro, you said something about this man's daughter while she wasn't. Bro. I ain't even gonna get into that.
She ain't old enough to drink yet, bro. Don't even comment on that. But I mean, am I the only one that felt like this? Am I the only one that felt like that song itself that he came out with? It was like punchline, bunch of filler stuff in between, couple punchline, bunch more filler in between. I just felt like I found myself sitting there waiting for him to say something else about him, but it was like nothing else in the middle of it. It's like you didn't say nothing. It was just like, yeah, I'm a no. Okay, Oscar the Grouch. I'm not afraid. And then he say some other stuff.
It's like the 8 Mile situation. Like say something else that they don't know about me. Like we already knew all that stuff. It wasn't anything new or exciting.
Yeah.
I give him a you got balls thumbs up.
I give him an A for effort for even trying.
But he is out of his league. And a couple people on Twitter were like, oh, you an Eminem stan? I'm like, not ever. You know what I mean? I'm far from an Eminem stan, but I can appreciate what he does and what he has done. You can't discredit what he has done, and you can't forget the fact that he made a living basically off of stuff like this, and he's gonna relish that opportunity if he decides to respond to it.
It's his realm. It's his realm.
Yeah,
so you stepping into it.
You stepped into the cage with a lion and thought you was gonna come out with him just licking you on the face, happy to see you. No, you're gonna get mauled.
Right.
That's what's gonna happen because that's in their nature. You are in their element. You're in their space.
Right.
Just don't do, man. You just don't do that.
So yeah, we're gonna see if anything comes there. I would say the MGK, like his relevance was lost when he stopped fucking Amber Rose. To be honest, like everybody just stopped. They were like, nah, like we good with you. Like he didn't really come out with anything else music wise.
He wasn't fucking her.
Huh?
I said, who wasn't?
Right. I mean,
it's the rappers, bro. Like
that's true,
man.
So yeah, like ain't nobody really checking for MGK no more. Unfortunately, I thought that he might have kind of like got it somewhere, but nah, it ain't happen, bro. So again, A for effort for you, MGK. But I think the real situation is this potential Joe and Eminem situation. So AB, you said that you don't think that M's gonna respond.
I don't. I really don't. Just because, like, you know, track history. I don't think M is really ever equal with anybody that's of his caliber in that same. I'm not saying that he in the same bracket as Joe, like career wise, but skill wise, they kind of in the same bracket. Like Joe can deliver, whereas better than anybody else that he's ever faced. So I don't see, and I also don't see the benefit of Eminem going back at Joe besides a pride. So I mean, if he does, I'm gonna be all for it, but I just don't see it happening. I don't see either of them getting in the booth at this point.
Mm-hmm. If like you said that you think he might, think Eminem gonna say something.
who are we talking about?
Joe. That Eminem gonna say something about Joe again, off of the project.
I think he can. I'm not 100% sure that he will. I think he'll do it, but he'll do it in a more tactful way. I don't think he's just gonna throw it out. Joe Budden, like really go at him. I think he'll say his name again just to kind of like poke the bear a little bit, see what he's gonna do, see if Joe Budden is really like fully invested and all in like he claimed he would be. I don't think he's gonna like really say anything malicious at this point. I think he kind of like, I said what I had to say. Now that's that yo move. If you want to take it further, you take it further.
Yeah, that's basically how it was.
Pretty much. I think they just gonna they gonna do the equivalent of rap beef phone tag, bro. It's just gonna keep going back and forth. Like you move, like you know, with two people about to fight, and they
whoever
like,
hit my hand first.
Swing. Yeah,
whoever hit my hand first, knock the stick off my shoulder type shit.
Yeah, like they just keep pushing each other. So it's gonna be a big ass shoving
shoulder
match.
to
Nobody
shoulder.
really gonna be swinging. You know, that's the only thing I see coming out of this one. But hopefully I'm wrong, because I would love to see a heavyweight brawl, but we'll see.
It's hip hop, man, and that's what's been missing. Because all these dudes too scared to say something about the other one because they all want to do songs together.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. It's hip hop, man. It's lyrical sparring, yo. That's the essence, yo. That's what this shit was built off of. Competition.
Right.
So I have no problem with that whatsoever.
But they act like they can't lyrically spar and still get on the song together.
Long as it don't become a physical altercation or somebody end up losing their life or something like that because of it, then that's fine.
Right.
Pretty much. Because
Right.
I'm tired of these little like whack ass disses and everybody bigging them up like they just the greatest thing ever. Like the whole Pusha T and Drake situation. That beef was it was meh at best.
One-sided. That's why it was one-sided.
Even like all the beefs we had, let's think about it. It was Drake and Meek Mill, Drake and Pusha T, and then what other beefs have we really had within the last like 5 years?
Nothing else really significant.
Nothing,
I know.
if I can't think of it, it really wasn't.
I know Yo
Exactly.
Gotti and Young Dolph were beefing. They were like kind of throwing
but
stuff. Like Young Dolph did a whole song about him and mentioned his name multiple times, and Yo Gotti ain't say nothing. He ain't mentioned his name, but he was throwing shots at him. And I mean that almost led to some physical stuff though. I mean it was a real rap beef. That is a beef.
Time, so like that's not even really like rap beef. And then it goes back to how is them two gonna lyrically spar? Like, don't get me wrong.
They don't. They can't lyrically spar.
Yeah, I listen to some Young Dolph or some Yo Gotti in the club, but
yeah, but it's like,
but that's how I got to what it was. That's how I got to the whole shooting up Young Dolph's truck.
I mean,
because
listening to them too, that's the equivalent of like having a coloring book contest. Like who can color inside the lines. Like, come on, man. Let's not. Who can color inside the lines the best, bro? Like bunch of second graders, man. Like, come on.
Well, yeah, good. Wait, I
don't
mean,
even use lyrical in them two in the same sentence.
But that's the point, though. Yeah, it really hasn't been anything really significant lyrical wise, in a long time. So I want to see something manifest for this. But just to wrap this up, as far as Eminem is concerned, I don't think that anybody. will doubt that he is a lyrical monster. Everybody knows that. Nobody has ever said, oh man, Eminem cannot spit. We all know this. Ever since you came in the game, we know that you can spit. Eminem's problem has always been the biased people who, when they heard all this stuff up until Eminem show, they were like, oh man, like he's top 3, like he's one of the best rappers ever. And then after that, all his projects just fell off. And when you had that little period, it was hard for even me to say, man, like you were my favorite rapper ever, just because your projects were not as good. And it wasn't just one, like you mentioned, Flock, like the Jay-Z with Kingdom Come. That's one album that people thought wasn't so good, right? But Eminem has multiple ones throughout that time span, and people like, I don't know, man. Like this ain't.
I think everything after that, people kind of tried to dissect. Like people were criticizing the Blueprint 3. People criticize American Gangster. Like he just was in a different lane at that point. So, like you got to realize, by this time, I mean, Jay-Z was
those albums weren't bad.
By this time, Jay-Z was almost 40. So it's like you're not gonna put out them. You're not gonna put out "Can I Get Up," you know what I'm saying, and shit like that, and you know what I'm saying, I just want to love you, you know what I'm saying. You're not gonna put out those type of songs all the time.
He just reminded me of their beef, Cameron and Jay-Z. That was funny. But Jay-Z ain't say that though. But their beef was funny.
He did. He
subliminally.
Yeah, he did when he called him what he called them dudes, but he talked about all of them, but he just said it in like a more clever way to kind of like push off, kid, you bug me, one of them type of jokes.
Yeah, that's what Jay-Z likes to do. So but I mean, yeah, I still, like, when you compare both of them, like, I still feel like Jay-Z's catalog is much better than Eminem's. Again, the only dud that a lot of people say is Kingdom Come.
Looking like LeBron in the finals, man. To be honest with you, for me, because there's only really like 3 really good albums, and then the rest of them is kind of either meh or just trash.
Right.
So,
with all that being said, what are we giving this album though?
Yes,
that's what I want to know. So I want to know what Mr. A.B. Smooth is giving Kamikaze.
I'm giving that shit a solid 2, nothing more.
Solid 2, nothing more. Okay. What about you, Flock?
This is hard, man. I'm middle of the road. I mean, first of all, my favorite song on there was "Lucky You" with Joyner Lucas, and then, believe it or not, I like Venom a lot. Thought that song was cleverly done.
What?
Yeah,
interesting.
You gotta really, when you really listen to it, I thought that song was done pretty clever, especially since it's for the movie, and you could tell when you listen to it that he actually pays attention to, the actual characters. You get what I'm saying? Like, he actually researched before he made the song. That's what I can appreciate. You're not just on there making a song for a soundtrack or for an album. I mean, not an album, for a movie or something like that. You just saying stuff, just the obvious. He was legit going through the whole, like, the symbiotic process of it. That's why I say a lot of shit that Eminem does, it goes unnoticed by the untrained ear, and that's why I could appreciate that. I think Venom was a surprise song on there, and because it wasn't expected either, but it was, I liked it. So I'll get an album just because of how bad Revival was. I think he came back a lot stronger. I'll give it a middle of the road. I want to give this a 3. I'll just give it a 3.
Okay. I'm also going to give it a 3 because, again, like you said, like, I feel like it was a great bounce back from Revival. Like, Revival was just kind of like erased from my mind. I tried to erase it because, again, I'm always battling with myself where I want to place Eminem on my hip hop route, Mount Rushmore. I want to put him up there, but again, like, I can't do it with them terrible albums, man. But again, he will always be a top 3 lyricist in my opinion, top 5, if you want to go into some other people that are underrated. But like, man, like, I really like this album compared to Revival, man. Like, it was.
We gotta do one of them too.
Oh yeah, hip hop Mount Rushmore. What we think is the top? Yeah,
we gotta do that.
Facts. We'll definitely get to that, but yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3, man. I'm gonna give it a 3. I feel like I can't give it any higher because, again, he did kind of go back to his regular sound on a couple of these songs, but the first half, I feel like the first half was very, very strong for me. And Lucky You, like, just that song alone, just it really opened my eyes to the old Eminem that we once knew and loved. So I mean, like I said before, like if it takes you listening to critics shit on your stuff to get you that mad that you gonna go in the booth and spit like this, then we need to make you mad more often. Maybe we'll get this type of Eminem all the time, man. And keep working with some of these people, man. Like keep exploring these other beats. Don't do Take Keith no more though. You can do Mike Will Made It. Just no, I don't know.
And the industry needs to leave Take Keith alone. They need to stop getting played. This man is out here getting bagged, selling y'all the same beat over and over. Stop it, please.
Yeah, I don't know where that collab came from. That was really bad. But just don't put Take Keith on there. But explore with some other artists, explore with some other producers, and get some more sounds. And I think that we can have better Eminem projects until he finally decides that he's done for good. Because I thought that he would have been done for good years ago, to be honest. But he kept going, and then we got this surprise project because he was mad at everybody. And you could tell he's listening. I mean, it's like he's listening to Breakfast Club. He's listening to Everyday Struggle. He's listening to the Joe Budden podcast. He's hearing what you all are saying. So maybe he'll listen to this too. Maybe, hopefully. But yeah, I liked it, man. I thought that this was good. So I give it a 3. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for being a surprise project as well. So,
well, damn, I look like a hater now.
Nah, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad with you for how you feel about it. But again, like comparing it to Revival, I think that's why I gave it a high score, just because that was just so bad, and this was a breath of fresh air for me.
I agree with that, because that, oh my God. Whew. Okay, yeah, next thing.
Yeah. So that was it, man. It was a long, drawn-out topic, just how I thought it was going to be, but that was our review on Eminem Kamikaze. So let's move on to the next section.